man. I thought I was going to be late.
I know. I also thought I was going to be late, which I was.
Yes, you were.
Lucas is extra late.
I
though.
joined
Lucas
when
is
the
here.
call happened and refused to feel guilty.
I made the call.
And the call
I
is
refuse to feel guilty.
when people are ready. Yeah, we're all fine. Nobody's gonna get demerit for this.
Ooh, tension.
Yeah, I'm on demerit. I didn't know this was an option, but now that I know that it is, you both get 1 demerit.
I'm going to give you a demerit for giving me a demerit and ruining the team chemistry.
Wow. Well, giving me a demerit actually results in 5 demerits. I hope you're aware of that. Yeah, so...
Wow, that's an excessive use of demerits. You get another demerit.
Yeah, well, but then once again, I'm getting another demerit, so then there's 5 more demerits for you. You see how this math can't hold up. If you give me 50 demerits, you're going to get 250 demerits. It's not going to work out in your favor.
You're like a criminal in trial. Like, you've been sentenced to 5 years for petty larceny. It's like, well, then, Your Honor, I'm going to give you 10 years. Oh, that's another 5 years. Well, then that's
10
another
more.
10 years. 40 years for, I don't know.
The judge starts
200
sweating.
years.
Yeah. Judge starts sweating. Life in prison. 5 lifetimes in prison for you, Your Honor. He's just like, oh, fuck, oh, shit.
So is now the time to mention that if you get 10 demerits or more, you're out of the podcast?
Oh, Ryan and I just have to end it. Just
Yeah.
fucking sign off for the last time.
Mr. DeRuyter, I don't feel so good.
Oh,
Start fading away.
I want to get off of the voluntary viewing podcast Wild Ride.
And that's what this is.
Episode
Episode 98.
That very much is what episode 98 of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast is. Recorded May 23rd, 2020. Changing it up. It's a Saturday we're recording on. And that's because it is Memorial Day weekend. Can't do a ton on the holiday because of COVID. But yeah, still federally recognized. So here we fucking are. And we are the man who, without a doubt, is Burbank Chipotle's best customer, Ryan Holtz.
I probably am, honestly. I've thought of that. I've thought of the fact that, I'm probably their most loyal customer right now. I should flaunt that a little bit because I like to go to that location. It's very convenient in downtown Burbank, which I think is a pleasant place to hang out in.
Yeah.
And yeah. Might have to throw my weight around a little bit there. Were all these other customers with you during the epidemic? I was.
Look, all I'm saying is that you can definitely flex a little bit, and they will name a rap after you.
Hopefully they'll just give me double meat for free.
All the meat you can handle.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a bad idea for them. I can handle a lot of meat, let me tell you.
We're going to give you one all-you-can-eat buffet. It's like, I've been a loyal customer thus far, and I refuse to stop being now, so I must warn you, you're making a mistake, sir.
I want you to stay in business. You're working against yourself here.
You
don't do this to me, as he's keeps shoveling food in his mouth. Make me stop.
You've activated my trap card.
Oh my god. I'll just never leave.
Omayadero Shinderu. And they're Chipotle. Nani?
And also on the podcast today is the man who may have usurped Ryan's former title and is now Madison QQ's biggest supporter, Andrew Clark.
But I can't support them.
He's passively supporter.
They're not functioning.
Yeah, but you're passive. You're saying,
I'm waiting.
Come back.
I'm waiting. I'm emotionally supporting them.
They're in the forefront of your mind.
When they come back, and it's safe to do so, I shall patronize the shit out of them.
Yeah. You're sending good vibes.
Yeah. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
And then last but not least is me, Lucas DeRuyter, a man who tried to support my local GameStop, a company that I actually own stock in and therefore financial interest, but I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Yeah.
I
Should have just let me buy you a PS4 controller.
I think there might be a shortage, actually.
They are more expensive online than they should be.
Right.
Which is kind of weird, even on like Amazon.
Yeah. And I did end up having to buy one online, like I mentioned, but I had to go to Target today. I planned that out poorly, and I thought, oh yeah, let me just see if there are any here. Maybe I can cancel the order, and there were none.
Oh.
And why is there a shortage? Because there's a serial PS4 controller thief on the loose, stealing across the United States, including your controller.
I mean,
And that is why.
Keep your controllers locked up, kids.
Yeah. Hug your controller tonight, everyone.
Oh my god.
I think I'm pretty internet savvy by an average person's standards. So I feel like I would know if there were a massive black PS4 controller market going on, but maybe that's too far down the dark web for me.
Oh, it's not sold online.
Oh.
This guy's got a brick and mortar dealio set up, and it's being hard hit
he's
by
also
COVID.
He's
So-
also not selling them. He's not making any sort of financial gain out of it. He's just a psychopath.
Yeah, he's
who
a fucking freak.
Wants to ruin the lives of gamers everywhere.
He's kidnapping those
wait.
controllers.
It's Phil Spencer.
Oh, Jesus.
He's trying to get people to not play PlayStation.
Phil Spencer is kidnapping those controllers, slowly torturing and murdering them, and then consuming their flesh. Fucking serial controller freak.
Was Phil?
He's like, oh, you can't play PlayStation? Well, I've got an all-digital gaming console that might be right for you.
Is Phil Spencer also the guy who bought a literal pallet of what was it, like Lucina amiibos back in 2014?
Did that happen?
Possibly.
You didn't? Yeah, some dude apparently. The story goes they hate that character so much that they didn't want anybody to have an amiibo of her, so he just bought a pallet of them or stole it or something.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I am finding nothing
Nah.
about this.
Lucas made this all up. This is all headcanon. Lucas died to Lucina once in Smash and then made up this headcanon story of how much another guy hated her.
I apologize. Not Lucina, Rosalina and Luma.
Ah.
Rosalina.
That's much more reasonable. Like, now I'm on this guy's side.
I'm still not finding anything.
There's a Destructoid article titled Man Hate Buys Rosalina and Luma amiibo in bulk so fans can't have them.
Was it Phil Spencer?
No.
Oh, well,
That was a joke because I was saying that
okay.
Phil Spencer cooked and ate the flesh of controllers.
I know, but like then Lucas came in with what sounded like a hey guys, like to be on like serious note here. I don't know. I have been had.
You fool.
Well,
You activated my tracker.
Yep. It's a tarp.
It's a turf.
Oh, Admiral Akbar.
he got smoked in The Last Jedi, right?
I don't think he was in it.
I think it was one of his species, but I don't think he himself.
Yeah, like a dude that, was that alien species definitely got blown to hell.
Right.
But
Admiral Akbar, like that would have been a huge death in the series. They would have paid him serious tribute, like on par with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker.
I do think I remember it was like that dude and like went in the movie theater for a second, like, oh, is that Admiral Akbar? And then they said the dude's name, and it was something very stupid but very similar. It was like, Admiral Sandbar. Oh, no. I'm like, what?
And we are about to get into some very serious stuff. Putting on my serious voice. In the News of the Week section.
Cue the music. Ah, good music.
Top 10. Top 10 greatest music all time.
Oh, that happens at the end of the year.
Oh, we could add that.
Bad reference.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Ooh, should we do it like when quarantine's done? Should we do like a top 10 quarantine moments?
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'm also thinking like, since meme of the decade was such a fun episode, maybe we could also do top 10 memes, but make it its own special episode. I don't know. I'm still workshopping.
Let's do it live on the podcast.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Planning. In today's virtual writer's room, we have Andrew, Ryan, and Lucas talking about boring topics such as meeting schedules.
Guys, I'm just thinking that my character really isn't popping anymore, and I should probably take it in a different direction.
That is such a bad accent to be so consistent with. When people break out bad accents, they're usually sliding all over the place. You had the phonetics for that random accent that isn't real.
Yeah, no, you made up an accent and stuck with it.
It was like you invented an accent of some sort.
Honestly, props.
It was very consistent, but fuck, I was really not expecting it to stay consistent. I think it was Australian and like Inuit mixed together.
The very first syllable, I thought it was like a Cockney thing, but then it became something different.
It became something stronger than you can ever imagine.
Just all the accents rolled into one.
You could do the whole podcast in that accent. I have faith in you. That's how consistent that fucking accent was. Oh my god.
I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it on Monday or Tuesday's quarantine cast, but sometime in the future, I'm keeping this in the back of my mind, locking it up for later. I'm just going to bust that out and not acknowledge it.
And we won't either.
Hell yeah.
We know exactly what's happened.
There is a lot of stuff happening with Club Penguin, though. Even though it is dead, some problematic fans are forcing Disney to bury it a bit deeper. A popular Club Penguin fan server was DMCA'd, likely because it gained infamy due to users posting discriminatory content, personal information, and penguin e-sex.
Oh, man. I never got into Club Penguin, and I'm glad I didn't, because this probably would have made me sad.
There's the Club Penguin band speedrun category, which was pretty fun. Because Club Penguin told you what you said that got you banned.
Yeah.
And of course there's the famous, it's in the comments of this Kotaku article, my penguin dick wet.
My favorite one is just a screenshot of the why you got banned. He's like, you were banned for using a an explicit word. That word was Puerto Ricans.
What a weird service. I knew that there were fan servers going on.
Yeah.
But it is kind of... I guess that's sad that they're taking it down.
There are more.
There are more, but I mean, if this one can be taken down,
that's
why
fair.
can't
Yeah.
every other competitor?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Disney doesn't usually protect IP, right? They're usually pretty flimsy about their IP. They're like, we're flexible.
Which is why they copyrighted and then a phrase on Twitter and then made everyone basically sign a consent form for using it.
Or how they literally have invented modern copyright law through one character not being able to enter the public domain. Otherwise it would be the end of the world for them for some fucking reason.
So I remember that Disney went so hard on the Mickey Mouse copyright protection because they had actually lost the rights to an older character. I think it was Oswald the Rabbit or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Who was then eventually traded for Al Michaels.
what?
Yes, that's not a joke.
I
Al Michaels used to work for ABC
uh-huh.
for their football broadcast, and in a trade for Oswald the Rabbit, Disney sent over Al Michaels because Universal owned the rights, and now Al Michaels is on NBC.
Holy
That's
shit!
it.
I didn't know that.
No, absolutely real.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Are you
100%
fucking
real
kidding
thing
me?
that Disney did. Can you imagine being Al Michaels, an incredibly talented broadcaster? You got traded
for a cartoon rabbit.
a cartoon rabbit that they haven't done anything with since. Like,
Nothing.
they just wanted his rights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
The lovely world of copyright law.
So, do you think when Drew Brees takes over for Al Michaels in a couple years, then NBC will like trade him back to ESPN
There
or
you
something?
go. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
Hey, congratulations, Drew. You've been promoted. You are now worth one Oswald the Rabbit.
Yeah.
What would the strange, obscure Disney copyrighted character be to be traded to NBC
Well,
for the rights
Disney-
of probably Drew Brees?
We'd have to get a Universal character that for some reason Disney owned the rights to. Do they own anyone in the Dooku? the
the Dooku.
the Dark Universe, cinematic universe.
List of Disney IPs.
Oh God, it's gonna be hundreds and thousands of IPs long. Universal IP owned by Disney.
I think technically the Hulk, maybe?
Well, I mean, of course the Hulk is. Like, he's
But is
part
the
of
Hulk Universal?
I think the original
no, we're
Hulk
talking about
movie was
Disney.
made by Universal.
Well, but we need something the other way around.
Okay. I see
And
what
also,
you're saying.
Disney definitely owns the rights to the Hulk nowadays.
Yeah, we need something that Disney has that they could trade to NBC
Yeah.
for some, for whatever purposes, but it can't just be like one superhero because then, they own the rights to all that other shit.
There's got to be something. I mean, Universal Studios uses Simpsons theme park rides, which technically Disney owns now. But once again, no, that's kind of the other way around.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if they traded Zootopia?
Huh.
Everyone's favorite.
I could see that.
Wait, but does Universal own or Disney own Zootopia?
Disney owns Zootopia.
Oh, really? That
I think
does
so.
not feel like a Disney movie. I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
Neither have I. Yeah, it's not even like a Pixar or anything. It's
Oh,
just
definitely
Disney,
not Pixar.
Disney animation.
Yeah.
Yep, Zootopia, Disney movies.
Yeah, I could see that being a Universal property. There you go. Drew Brees
There it
for Judy Hopps and whatever the other guy, Fox guy.
Yeah.
Nick.
Nick.
I mean, his name's Nick Wilde, but no one knows that.
Oh.
Fucking Nick.
Judy
Judy Hopps and Nick for Drew Brees.
TLDR.
Oh, Die Hard is a Disney property.
Yeah, because of Fox. Yeah.
I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan,
do it.
TLDR on Zootopia, since you haven't seen it. It's a lot like B-Stars, except sexually toned down.
It's toned down?
Yes.
With the amount of porn that exists of Zootopia on the internet,
There is...
I am amazed that is
You know-
considered a toned down.
Well,
Sexuality.
but that's all separate. The porn that is of B-Stars is just, I assume, in the show.
Yeah.
Beastars does like actual hentai in the show.
Never full nudity, but oh yeah, characters are fucking left and right.
On screen.
I mean, not on screen, but it's implied.
There you go.
It's
So
TV sex, like cable sex. Yeah.
it's implied.
Oh, speaking of,
What?
Lucas, do you remember that piece of shit movie we watched back in high school called The Watch with like Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn? About the neighborhood watch and the aliens.
Yeah, I
and
gotta flat tire when we went to see that thing, right?
Yeah. That movie sucked. But this morning I woke up and I went to go have breakfast, and I was flipping through channels trying to find local news. And on the IFC channel, that movie was on. And I happened to, like, hit that channel during the, like, orgy scene. Completely uncensored.
Yeah.
And people were swearing left and right, talking about cock and balls and saying fuck and shit and tits everywhere. I'm like, this is on live television right now.
Good for you, IFC. Stick to your guns.
And then I flipped because that movie sucks.
Yeah, cable channels aren't held to the same FCC standards. In fact, they're not held to any standards. It's just advertisers. They can do whatever they want.
And I think they should do more. Hot take.
Well, advertisers don't, so
Yeah.
therefore they don't.
But what if television advertising devolves into like online advertising? So
what's the mobile game? Fucking
Cut Wars.
No.
That's one of them.
That's not what I was thinking.
No,
of.
so
No,
like
the,
if you're
the YouTube one that Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes.
oh yeah, try it now for
Yeah.
free. No, I'm
Game of
talking
Thrones:
about, like,
The Younger Years is sponsored by Raid
my
Shadow
God.
Legends.
the younger years.
I had to come up with a
It's
spin-off
baby
title.
Looney Tunes, Prince
Yeah.
Jon Snow and shit. No, I'm talking about like if you're illegally streaming like a TV show or on your porn site or some shit like that, and then the advertisements that pop up in the margins. That's what is on television for advertising now. It's so television shows are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want because that's who they're getting money from. Because
Sure.
the dick pill company is not going to be like, whoa, you got to tone this content down, otherwise we're not going to give you money.
Oh, when you're illegally streaming,
Yes.
not legally. Okay.
Also, the fake
I was
dick
gonna
pill
say, I'm like, are
company.
you getting dick pill
Yeah.
companies
yeah,
advertising
I'm just on
on Hulu? Like,
yeah, I'm just on like CBS, streaming, and this is just what's popping up.
Yeah, I'm like, I think the algorithm has you in a weird spot.
Smutstone or whatever it was. The only reason I remember these is because I was watching Funhouse TV the other day, and there was an episode where they literally played all those games because they went to go play some Flash game online. And then there was an advertisement for like Smutstone, and they played it, and they're like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And then there's another advertisement on that for like Cunt Wars, and they just kept going. And they played like 7 of them in a row.
Oh yeah, was that the one with Harry Potter too?
It might have been.
The Hermione. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been.
There you go.
Next up, this Gizmodo article argues that storage space is likely to be the deciding factor in the next generation console war, and predicts that the PlayStation 5 will prevail in this dimension.
Cool.
Okay. Weren't we just talking about this on the Quarantine Cast the other day?
Yeah, we were.
About how like PS1 had like a kilobyte of storage space or some shit.
And
Xbox was fine.
yeah, and like now seemingly Microsoft is going the other way, and it sounds like you'll have to get a proprietary external hard drive if you
Or use xCloud.
or yeah. Yeah. And I guess I kind of understand if Microsoft decided storage space isn't actually important because they just want everybody renting games through GameFly anyway. So
Gamefly.
isn't that what it's called?
Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass. There we go. Sorry, GameFly is the.
Gamefly.
That's a real
It
thing.
hasn't
I got them
existed
confused in my
in
head.
a long
But yeah.
Rent to the game, play as long as you want, and send them back when you're done.
Not a great business model.
What a weird
Evidently.
fucking service.
Oh, Gamefly is still around. I thought it died.
I know James used to talk about how he had GameFly.
I remember those ads too. Apparently.
It looks like it's still a thing.
I don't know. I just thought it interesting, and as somebody who's already committed to getting a PlayStation 5, feeling slightly more validated. So that's neat.
There you go.
Anything happening in television?
I don't know if we mentioned it in the last podcast. I think it might have happened afterwards. But What We Do in the Shadows was renewed.
Yeah.
Might have been in the post-roll.
So
woo!
Hell yeah. I didn't put it in the doc, but I think I remember seeing that Ruby Rose is out as Batwoman on the CW show.
She did leave.
Yeah.
And then what's her name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine immediately threw her name in the hat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I forget that actress's name, but she's good. She'd probably do well as Batwoman. And I think Ruby Rose hasn't said why she's out, but I do remember that she suffered a pretty major injury on set, and I think that might have just kind of turned her off to the production, but I don't know.
It could be a major injury. She could have been forced out. A lot of people are speculating that they didn't like the direction that Ruby Rose was taking it. So, who knows?
We will find out someday. And now we go into film. Take it away, Redberry.
Edgelords Brown.
Rejoice. What?
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 You said something.
Did I?
I vaguely.
I think you're hearing things, man.
I vaguely heard the word brown, I think, whispered in the wind.
That sounds like you got mental problems, man.
That may be.
Clearly not brown. I do not know,
dude,
what is wrong with that part of your brain, Ryan.
I don't even know, man. Wait, what's that? What's that thing called? That's in your stove. It makes things warmer. I don't know. I think you're going crazy, man.
God damn. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Edgelords rejoice. The Snyder Cut is coming to HBO. It's real, I guess. We talked about this a while ago about how, like, we thought people were really stupid for trying to get the Snyder Cut. Now it's here, so I guess we're the dumb ones now, right?
Except it's not actually the Snyder Cut. It's
isn't it just like the deleted scenes and stuff?
No, they're putting like I think it was, I forget the exact number, but I think it was between like I think it's like 30 to 60 mil to actually do the rest of that movie, I guess, or take the unfinished footage and make it watchable or something.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I knew that, like, the, footage, the so-called, Snyder Cut footage was, like, not finished. But I didn't know that HBO was actually going to, like, finish it.
Yeah.
HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, so
right. They're putting.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that it's weird that it's going to HBO. It's just.
No, I'm saying like HBO is not paying for it. Like the network that it's on isn't paying for it. The studio that owns the movie, which is owned by the same corporate conglomerate as HBO.
4 fucking years later.
Yeah, so synergy and whatever bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm more just saying that to kind of point out that no, the Snyder Cut wasn't always a thing that is fine.
They're just making it now.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there was a Snyder Cut. It just wasn't consumable.
Finished. Right.
Yeah.
Also, I found out.
And then,
I found out that with my new internet connection in my new apartment, I'm gonna get HBO Max for free. Still not gonna watch this.
Wow.
Feels
like it's a principle thing more than an entertainment thing at this point.
You know what? I watched the Shazam movie, and I want to keep it at a bat in 1,000 for my DC Cinematic Universe viewing experience.
You've never seen any other recent DC movies?
I don't think so.
Suicide Squad,
Nope.
Justice League, Man of Steel?
Nope.
You never saw Man of Steel?
It's bad. Why would I?
Man of Steel's not bad. So many people have that opinion. And also, like, yeah, you never saw it.
Well,
You can't say it's bad.
okay, fine. I defer to your opinion, but I don't think I'm burning any bridges by saying it's not a good movie. Or at the very least, that's a prevailing opinion.
It's borderline good. It's approaching good, if you were to use calculus terms. It's approaching good, but it'll never get there. Like, it's very close.
Yeah.
I enjoy Man of Steel. I'll stand by that.
I
have not
never
seen
saw
Batman vs
Justice
Superman
League.
or Justice
Batman
League.
versus Superland. Batman versus Superland. Batman versus Superman.
Batman vs
is-
Superland.
It's awful. It is an awful movie. I fucking hate it. I did actually see Suicide Squad, which is not as bad as Batman vs Superbad. It's just not really that entertaining.
You said
What?
it too. You said Batman vs Superbad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You said Superland and Superbad.
Okay.
Batman versus Superbad.
I would
We need
look-
an expanding brain meme with that.
Oh my god.
Superman, Superland, Superbad, and it's
I need to go get like a
Galaxy Brain.
CAT scan or something.
I legit would love to see Batman hanging out with Jonah Hill and what? Oh god, why am I forgetting?
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera's characters from that movie, and then you have Seth Rogen and
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader running around in the background.
Yeah.
Anyway, I never saw Justice League because I hated Batman versus Superman so much.
And you never saw Aquaman except for that one time on the plane where you
Yeah,
saw
no, I saw a couple minutes of Aquaman.
other dude watching
without realizing it was Aquaman. Damn.
Andrew, I don't know how to tell you this, but you actually watched the little-known Namor the Submariner movie?
Yeah. And I don't know how else to tell you, Andrew, but you've been in a coma for 15 years.
Oh,
And Namor mania has swept the earth.
it's been 15 years and you guys are still around doing the podcast.
No, well, we're easing you back into reality. Like, your
Okay,
psychologist told us, like, hey, what were you doing 15 years ago with Andrew? And we were like, I guess we were making, like, a podcast or something.
I look pretty
And then-
good for pushing 40.
Well, so that's the part two. In 15 years, coma technology has increased greatly, so you're actually not real yet.
Oh,
Yeah. Your psychologist is screaming at me at the top of his lungs, but, like, I feel like it's immoral to not tell you that you're in a simulation right now.
oh, so it's like that Amazon Prime movie that no one's gonna watch.
Yeah.
Like download or upload or whatever it's called.
Upload, which I did watch the first episode and it fucking sucked.
Yeah, I could've
Greg
told you
Daniels
that.
is a hack. No, but yeah, if you think hard enough, you'll remember that, like, you kind of just, like, woke up today and your memories, you know, you don't really know how you got there and everything like that. We tried to piece together your last few months because we knew it happened during COVID.
Oh, and you were just the pandemic was made up to give me an excuse.
No,
to have my
pandemic
memories
happened in
be
the year
all jumbled.
2020, but it's the year
Oh.
2035, and we've gotten way past that. But we just remember COVID, so, like, you also might, like, you know, have this weird cartoony, like, things happening in your government because, like, you know, we tried our best, but at the end of the day, it was all going to be pretty exaggerated. So some of the other people that you've been hearing on the news probably are talking like they're in a coma, but that's just your brain struggling to process. So yeah, come on back to reality, bud. Like, 2035's kind of cool. We solved climate
what's
change
cool
back
about
in
it?
2030.
Really?
Yeah,
How'd you solve it?
carbon collection, man.
Oh,
Carbon collection and planting a shit ton of trees. It was actually Mr. Beast that solved the whole thing.
Mr. Beast.
He planted 400 trillion trees and donated trillions of dollars to carbon collection efforts. And
Just for the Brazilian government to cut them all down again.
well, yeah, they're working on it, but, like, fortunately, carbon collection has gone far enough that it's not as big of an issue as it was once. But yeah, no, Mr. Beast, you know, as we all know, made trillions of dollars off his YouTube channel, and by the year 2030, he could afford to spend the GDP of the UN on reversing the effects of climate change. And it was all for one video, which got about, you know, 4.7 billion views. So he made a pretty penny off of it, but
Probably not enough to make up for all the money he spent on trees.
no, absolutely made up for it.
Oh.
The monetization on that video was pretty stellar. It had a really catchy thumbnail where he was like open mouth, like whoa, and it was just like global temperatures, like graph
He's
decreasing.
like, I solved humanity's worst crisis ever.
I solved climate change? Question mark! Exclamation mark!
Parentheses, you won't believe it.
It was kind of cool. Elon Musk went off the deep end and actually is now living on Jupiter, which we didn't know was possible because gas giant. But you know, he spent his entire fortune on researching how to live on a gas giant. So he's there now.
You can't in good conscience call it living since he's kind of in a vegetative state, but he's there. He has a pulse.
Well, he's using a similar technology that Andrew's using right now, the coma tech, as they call it.
Oh, hey, since I've been in a coma for so long, there was something that I was really looking forward to before I went into the coma.
Oh, good.
Maybe you could tell me how it went.
Here we go.
How did Tenet do in the box office?
Tenet never came out. It's still the great mystery.
Oh.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan just moved on to his next movie, and it was great. I don't want to spoil it for you. If I say even a single word about it, including the title, it's going to be a spoiler. So I'll let you consume that one once you get out.
I mean, some say
it's just Inception 2.
I didn't say that, but I also didn't say not that.
I mean, you haven't seen it though, so you can't say for certain because it never came out.
I haven't seen Tenet. I've seen Christopher Nolan's sequel after Tenet.
Yes.
He said sequel. We know that.
I didn't say it was a sequel to Tenet. I just said it was a Christopher Nolan sequel in that it followed in sequence after Tenet.
Okay, this bit's been going for a good amount of time.
Andrew, I need you to understand. I know your brain is rejecting your reality right now, but I need you to Hey, you! Get out of here! Security! He's in a very frail state. Get the fuck out!
Oh, man.
Andrew! Andrew, no! Andrew! Andrew, do what's best, I swear! I just got your best interests in mind. No! No!
Dunkirk 2, Electric
At least
Boogaloo.
he's finally gone.
Whoa. Boy, I lost it there for a second. Ha ha ha. My human friends, you guys are... What were we discussing before I lost my brain?
I believe we were discussing how Scott Pilgrim is going to be coming back to theaters
sometime. Look out, Tenet. But yeah, it was fun for me as somebody who that might be. Yeah, that's definitely top 5 favorite movies for me. I don't know if it's number 1, but yeah, never saw it in theaters, and now I'll have a chance. I might not take the risk if it's anytime soon, but now I have a chance.
Calculating Brian response. Lucas, that movie sucks. Contrarian statement.
I also
pretending to be mean, maybe not actually pretending.
The world will never know.
I also realized it was also a storyline on this podcast that Andrew was maybe an AI, so now I think we might just be too busy with the idea.
Yeah. Confusion.
That is what you're supposed to do on a podcast. Confuse your audience.
Look out!
Yeah, our audience is like suspecting. Wait, I thought Andrew was an AI.
Look, we've been
now this Ryan guy is an AI.
They've been listening to the podcast for the Easter eggs, not for the content. It's like Call of Duty Zombies.
Sure.
We gotta give the fans putting the wiki together something.
Ooh, the voluntary viewing Wikia?
Yeah.
Sponsored by Fandom?
Too close to home for me to say anything.
I think it's time to pitch. Lucas, you need to pitch this. Lucas, is our big break. This is our chance. The official podcast sponsor of Fandom's website. We pay them to sponsor us.
They just replace me with Joe Rogan.
Ooh.
Would you guys be on a podcast with Joe Rogan?
An
What?
episode, yes. A series, maybe.
That's
you guys
why
are fucking crazy.
that's why I posed this question, because I knew exactly how both of you would respond, and I am excited for the argument.
You wouldn't do a podcast with Joe fucking Rogan. Arguably the biggest podcast entertainer on planet Earth.
I would... A podcast, yes. Like, more than, like, 1 or 2 episodes? I don't know, man. I feel like I'd just get into a fight with him.
That's great. Great content. Joe Rogan, renowned comedian and podcaster, approaches you, or his agent approaches you, and says, Lucas, I enjoy the work that you've been doing on your podcast. Joe has an idea for a podcast starring you and him. You're just turning that shit down.
What is the minimum...
You're a crazy person.
What is the minimum amount of time I would need to do it in order to springboard my career in a different direction?
I don't know. That's up to you to decide, but you wouldn't just say yes and then do exactly what you just said?
I don't like Joe Rogan that much, but okay.
I feel like that's insane because of personal feelings that you'd be like, golden opportunity. Tom Cruise wants me to star in his next movie alongside him, but he's a Scientologist, so fuck that. It's like, what? You have to say yes.
I mean,
Not only is it Tom Cruise, but you're going to get to go to space.
Yeah, you're starring in his space movie, and also Elon Musk is involved. But fuck that guy, so I'm turning it down and shooting myself in my professional foot.
I guess if I am on a Joe Rogan podcast and I'm exclusively the guy that talks down when he gets into conspiracy theory or right-wing lunatic theory, then okay, maybe I can work that. Maybe I could be the guy that brings it back, and I'd be fine. But then again, I am
not, or it just evolves into screaming matches,
all right.
and it's great. He's gonna have 1,000 listeners by default that are donating money. Like, it doesn't matter what the content is. Joe Rogan has his army of simps.
That's fighting for the title now.
Also, I love how coming up next that's our next topic.
Yeah, this
but
is
it's
a transition.
Joe Rohan. Riders of Rohan attack.
Oh.
We must defend Gondor. The torch has been lit.
What accent was that?
A Rohan? Rohanian?
It was like a Rohan mixed with John Malkovich. Like, it was so sharp. Riders of Rohan.
Is that what I sounded like?
The torch has been lit.
I think you're just doing a John Malkovich
Defend
now.
Gondor.
Gondor calls for aid.
Just Christopher Walken.
Will we respond?
Gondor calls for aid.
I think so.
Now in the other category, Joe Rogan's podcast is coming to Spotify on September 1st and will become a Spotify exclusive sometime after. We're also hearing reports of millions of dads calling their kids and asking how to set up Spotify premium accounts.
Whoa. It's like Ninja and Mixer.
Yeah? So it's not going to work?
I mean, honestly, if I had to, if it was a straight bet, yeah, no, I would bet against it. Like,
Are there other, like, do people have podcasts on Spotify?
Yeah.
I have never seen a podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, I haven't
before.
either.
They're fighting to make it a thing, and I've heard a couple
Which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, fucking makes sense. But there's already everywhere else to listen to a podcast.
It also sounds like they're trying to get up to par by just, like, chasing podcast cliches that people are kind of sick of by now. Like, I heard an advertisement, actually when I was on a walk earlier today, that was, yeah, come listen to the Serial Killer podcast on Spotify. It's all new.
The Serial Killer podcast.
I think that might be the literal name of it.
Oh, no.
this podcast is called Killer, the spiritual successor to Serial. Yeah, There's no way that like all the other podcast apps that just rip podcasts off of wherever they're uploaded won't also have this podcast. So
Yeah.
it seems irrelevant, the whole Spotify exclusivity.
Google Listen or whatever it's called. Remember how we found our podcasts on there? Just because they just take every podcast.
You got an RSS feed? Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. The one that I use is called Podbean, and it has episodes of podcasts that are like, we're only going to release the last 100 episodes, and if you want to buy the first 200, you can buy this flash drive for $23.99. It has all those episodes that like are supposedly on the flash drive only. So, yeah, they just scrub the internet for those types of files and upload them all together.
Speaking of websites doing weird shit, Twitter adds a feature that lets users control who can respond to their tweets.
They also changed their like UI, and I'm not used to it yet.
I've never used Twitter on my computer.
No, it's on the phone.
Oh, they've changed their mobile UI?
Yeah.
I'm still on the old one. Shit.
Yeah, no, definitely not for me.
I must have had automatic updates on or something.
Ooh, are you signed up for Twitter beta?
What the hell is that?
I don't know, just like they're pushing, like a lot of apps have like a beta mode where like their top fans can subscribe and then they get access to the updates faster than everyone else.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Maybe you are without knowing it. Who knows, man?
There's been a couple of times where I thought like I lost the internet connection because I'll click on a tweet and try to look at the comments, but there are no comments because a lot of people now are just not letting people comment on their tweets or like changing their responses to like only letting people that they follow respond and shit like that. So yeah, the comment memes are not as prevalent anymore. Oh well.
I can't wait 5 years from now when they get rid of the tweet button. Moving in to the meme corner.
Wow.
Have you guys seen the Sailor Moon redraw meme, or is that just anime Twitter?
I think that's anime Twitter.
That's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah, but
have you guys seen the Bobby Hill meme? That's been my big one this week. I feel like
big brain Bobby Hill, or
no, they can't read. Like those kids would be real angry if they could read.
Oh yeah, okay.
He holds the sign up to the window, and then the sign will say it's kind of a version of "Change My Mind."
Yep.
And then Hank Hill pulls him away and says, "Those kids would be real angry if they could read." So
I think that's that's like a real episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's just someone made a version of that.
Have you seen the "Are You Winning, Son" memes?
Oh yeah,
you were talking about those yesterday.
Yeah. No, like Ryan, that was just you and me last night, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
You and Ian, or maybe just me and you, because Ian's was having mic troubles.
Yeah. But have you seen it, Lucas?
I have, yeah.
What was your favorite part about the meme? This corner fucking sucks, you guys.
I'm sorry.
We've been doing it for years, and we just talk about a meme, and then like it's a visual thing, and then we say, "Yep, saw that." And like we said, most of the time we just Google "know your meme" or Twitter and just like desperately try to find a meme. Like
it's been tough lately, man. Quarantine's having an effect on the memes, but
we
to
had this section before
to give me a
quarantine.
second Ryan, I am enjoying the "How you doing, son? Are you winning?" meme, Andrew. And my favorite one is just one panel, the dad walking in asking that, and then the other panel is an illustration from Kafka's Metamorphosis, where it's just the main character as a bug on his bed. That gave me a chuckle.
I liked that one too.
So as someone who has not seen this meme, I can now experience it as a listener, and it's just not providing anything, man.
Okay, fine. Maybe going forward, we take the meme. We're less dedicated to the meme corner. We only bring it up from now on when we have something to add to it.
Welcome back to the podcast planning podcast.
We took a hiatus there for 20 minutes, but we're back as always, talking about future episodes.
Keeping our listeners involved in what we're going to be doing.
If you have an opinion, send your emails to voluntaryviewing@gmail.com. We'll probably do whatever you say.
Please support us. We'll even go on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, if
you definitely have to do at least one episode. Like,
yeah,
it'd be insane to not just go on the Joe Rogan experience, like with a reach of millions of people. That one actually would be, you are killing yourself for no reason.
So, support our Patreon. Donate $5, and we'll call you out in the podcast. Donate $10, and we'll go on Joe Rogan.
Dude, how much would it take for you to go on the Joe Rogan experience?
$10 from
I don't know, man.
Sensual Richard Nixon.
Like $15,000, man. Like I have to pay for a lot of therapy.
And that will take us into the breakouts.
Oh.
Andrew, last week you thought you had about a third of The Witcher 3 left. And now you're done with it.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think it was really good, guys. It's the game came out like almost exactly 5 years ago. I think I saw something like 2 or 3 days ago. It's like 5-year anniversary of The Witcher 3 being released. And everyone knew right away that it was an incredible game. And it's kind of a moot point to talk about how good it is at this point. I would suggest that both of you guys play it. Lucas, you can play it for free because you have access to my Nintendo account. You can just download it. You can play it for free. I think I saw in the Epic Game Store that The Witcher 3 is like $15 on PC, which would probably be a better way to play it because, again, while this game is really, really good, it still looks like ass on the Nintendo Switch compared to it being released on like the PC and PS4 5 years ago. So I would say maybe play it that way, but...
yeah, but that's the trade-off you get with playing The Witcher 3 anywhere, but then again, where the fuck you going right now?
I would say that playing it on the Switch probably did not detract from my experience from it at all. Okay. I really liked playing it on a handheld mode, just sitting on the couch or sitting in the bed or, whatever. Playing The Witcher, that was a lot of fun. But, it just does not look that pretty. It doesn't matter all that much.
So, all right, I have a couple follow-up questions that come to mind. But you saying that it came out 5 years ago, I vaguely remember that it was kind of a conversation for a minute because this game came out so close to Fallout 4. And now that you've played both, which one do you think made more of a lasting impression? Which one made a better impression?
The Witcher, absolutely.
Ooh. Yeah.
Wow.
Then Fallout 4, yeah, definitely.
You've chosen poorly.
It's really good. I mean, it is what everyone said it was, Yeah.
I'm not. No, I wish you hadn't let it down because I was ready to break out the whole, hey guys, I don't know if you've heard of this indie game, The Witcher 3. It's little known, but I think it's a real diamond in the rough.
Yeah. No, it's not like some game that I discovered where I'm like, oh guys, people aren't talking about this, but this is really good. I whatever. But everyone just has always said this game is incredible, and
yet,
it is.
And yet, I know very little about it, other than that it's supposed to be one of the best games of this past generation. What is the story generally, even?
Well, I don't really want to get too much into spoilers, but basically,
it's so good I can't tell you about it.
Well, the story is you play as Geralt of Rivia, a Witcher in this fantasy universe. You're basically like a monster hunting bounty hunter in that world. And you carry around 2 swords because you're cool. One's for people and one's for monsters.
I know who Geralt is. I saw the first 3 episodes of that Witcher
it's
Netflix
Geralt.
series. Sure.
That's actually a joke in the game a couple of times.
God.
So Geralt goes around killing monsters, solving mysteries, trying to find the like 2 women that are most important to him. Yennefer, his like long lost love, and then Ciri, who's his adopted daughter. Which also another weird thing about The Witcher that I just found out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Witcher games, because this is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and there were 2 previous Witcher games that were not nearly as popular that came out over the last 15-ish years.
It's my understanding they were good, but
like
they
like good games,
yeah.
got like a cult following, but like not super popular. And then The Witcher 3 kind of just blew everything else out of the water. They're all based on a series of books, like a Polish fantasy series, like that. I don't know when they were written. I think it was like the 90s, like 80s or 90s, something like that. And CD Projekt Red, which is the studio that made this, is Polish.
Yeah.
So that's why that's the series that they latched onto. I thought the games were a retelling of the books. They're not. They're a direct sequel.
Oh.
The books end. The series of books end, and then The Witcher 1 is like after that.
Huh.
And so there were a few times, because I did watch a video recap of like the first 2 Witcher games before I played this to try to get a better understanding of the characters and the story, and that's all good. It sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is. Most of it doesn't matter all that much for this game. You can understand it pretty well, I think, without playing those 2 games. But there were a bunch of times throughout the game where I'm like, I don't, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you didn't mention him in the recap, and that's because he's from like the 4th book in the series of written in the 90s. Like, it's kind of weird, but fun.
If you don't want to get too far into the weeds on the story, what is the combat like? What are the mechanics? Is it doing anything unique, or is it a pretty?
It's pretty simple. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, the combat is very crisp, but I wouldn't say it is like Horizon Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild, where the combat is like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nothing's really wrong with it. It's just not all that exciting. But I also played it on easy mode.
Oh.
Which still wasn't all that easy. Actually, maybe I played it on normal. I don't know. From what I've read, playing it on hard mode is the way to go to like make it more interesting, because that's when you actually have to do like making potions and casting spells to like increase different stats and like study the monster you're going to go kill and actually prepare for it instead of just going in there and fighting it like it's a regular enemy.
So,
because I didn't really do any of the whole like potion shit.
So what I usually do in RPGs, unless I run into an enemy or a boss that I can't get past, I try to keep my loadout as general as possible, so I'm able to kind of deal with just about any situation that I might run into. It sounds like The Witcher 3, you're really decentivized from doing that.
Well, and not really. I mean, because part of the RPG elements is, you can choose a couple of different areas to focus on. So I focused on like shield spells and then quick attacks and like looting and haggling stuff, so I could get more money and buy better equipment and, use my like certain defense spells more and that kind of shit. But like you can get way deeper into it. I just chose not to because I wasn't playing on a difficulty hard enough to really justify it.
Okay.
But I mean, people play the game very differently all the time.
I
think if I played it again, I'd play it on harder mode just to get more into that shit.
Give me a.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, you were continuing your thought. I'm sorry.
Just, I mean, that's the combat and the gameplay, but like really the focus of this game that makes it so good is the world, the characters, and the quests. Like the quests and the side quests are so good. They're so fun. There's so much like character in it. There's a lot to absorb. The world is like really fun to explore. The lore is like really interesting. The characters are super, relatable and endearing, and you're like, yeah, no, this is a person that could exist in real life. And
all
like
right.
kind of what people have described, like Geralt as is like he's a really endearing character. He's like the gruff, dude who like isn't super social, but he's still like a really nice guy and like a gentleman and that kind of shit. He's a total pussy slayer. But like most people have said, Geralt is like he's doing a job. It doesn't really feel like if he died or didn't exist or something that the world would fall apart, because he's literally doing a job. Like other people do that job too. There are other Witchers. The whole prophecy shit is going on in the background.
Okay, cool.
You're not like the chosen one. You just know the chosen one.
Yeah, dude, the chosen one's my best bro. Grab beers every other weekend. Hell of a time. Sucks at darts, though. All right. That good to hear, and I look forward to hearing what you follow this up with. Ryan, what do you got going on?
Oh boy, nothing like that.
Not a generation-defining video game. Okay.
Contrarian alarm just went off, but generation defining, really?
Okay.
Man, strong language.
I'm sorry, I said that. I'm not going to go to bat for The Witcher 3 being a generation defining video game. Andrew might.
I also don't feel like we need to. The game's been out for 5 years. The community's take on The Witcher 3 has been established.
Okay.
No, it's really good, but you have to go beyond being really good to like be a generation. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's it called? I've been playing Warzone and just downloaded Civ 6 for free on the Epic Games Store. Hashtag Epic Games still sponsor me or whatever.
Epic Games give us money.
And Andrew downloaded it too. And Andrew, have you ever played Civ before?
Never.
Oh,
Ooh.
Man.
Andrew, I don't know if you would like a Civ-style game, but okay.
I
Neither
don't
do I, but
either.
It was free.
But it's free and it's really good, and if you fall into it, we could have a lot of fun playing multiplayer Civ 6.
That's the thing. I'm just willing to give it a try. I honestly don't think I'll get that into it, but I've been wrong about this stuff before, and it's free. So
yeah, I don't get into it as same amount as other people, but like it's a big time binge game because the games take literally forever. So, but like it just hooks you in. Like the tasks are basically endless in the game, so you just want to like do the next thing. And then when you do that thing, you go like, well, I gotta do this thing before I log off. And like that's why I was late, was because I was just like, oh well, my warriors are gonna have to attack that barbarian encampment before before the podcast starts, because I have a big time strategy laid out and everything like that. And then, oh, well, I just got a great scientist. Like, I really need to figure out where that's going in this area before I log on, because otherwise, I might lose track of everything that I was doing and everything like that. And it's
does it run like in the background if you like log off, or does it save where you are?
Oh,
you can save single player. I'm not sure how their multiplayer works. I've actually never played a game of multiplayer Civ.
Are you? Okay. I had some follow-up questions on that, but probably wait until the next episode then. Cool.
The game would not work without you giving it constant input.
Yeah.
So it would never be able to go in the background. I don't know if you have to like set a time limit for online multiplayer games and just play it at that time, or if you can save multiplayer. Maybe there's like a local multiplayer where it's like just you and friends that you could save and come back to, and then like the actual online like with random strangers is like a time limit and stuff. But yeah, it's a really well done game, and I'm curious what you think about it. So yeah, no more Castlevania, I think. I don't know why, but it's I don't know, man. I don't know what happened.
They just lose you?
I haven't watched any more episodes since that second episode.
Oh, so you failed the anime challenge.
I think I might have, man.
Well, are you gonna take up any of the other anime Lucas laid out?
Definitely not.
No.
Castlevania was my last gasp, and I might give it. I don't know how my viewing habits work, but I have been so 100% not in the mood for that show since I watched the second episode, even though I liked the second episode a lot.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like it's like a dark, dreary, depressing show, but I do kind of get that like you do have to be in the mood for it a little bit, and like world events being what they are, it's kind of like, yeah, I want a show that's gonna be really violent and also like maybe bum me out a little bit. So I totally get that.
Yeah, that might be it. I've definitely been seeking comedies a lot lately, like way more than like I have a list of like 6 dramas that are like on my list I absolutely want to watch. And then meanwhile I was literally like seeking out comedies, which is what led me to What We Do in the Shadows.
Yep.
So I'm thankful for that, but man, it's weird.
I don't know. Maybe if Andrew picks it up and he and I get into it.
He did. Oh, Castlevania?
Yeah, Castlevania.
I thought you were talking about What We Do in the Shadows. That's the group chat.
Ooh, and we will. Okay, my breakout super quick. Not checking out much. Pretty swamped with the move. Have internet though, so we'll be able to check out more stuff. No, yeah. Anything I have to talk about, we would do in the group chat. So let's just go to that.
Group chat. Andrew, how far are you in What We Do in the Shadows?
I only watched the first episode.
Oh God.
My internet hit really hard last night.
Well, what do you think?
It just hits different.
It just hits different.
Andrew's internet, it just hits different.
Towards the end of the first episode, it was already starting to go where I could watch like 2 minutes at a time, and then it would buffer for 30 seconds. And then, so
I would have moved the first time that happened to me. I legitimately would have moved. I remember those times. Those are dark ages, Andrew. You cannot live in a place with that level of internet.
So
fuck that, man.
Dude, there's so much comedic timing in What We Do in the Shadows too.
I know. I could tell that's why I wasn't getting that into the first episode, and that's because I didn't get that into the first episode. But I know that I want to give it, at least a couple more before deciding on it, and I just couldn't watch another episode.
I think,
dude, I was saying this when you first told me you renewed your lease. I was just like, with that internet, and you're like, it's not that big of an issue for me, and I was like, we live very different lives. Like, I literally could not survive in a world where that was my internet connection. I would legitimately like do anything to break that lease and get the fuck out. That is insane, man. And then meanwhile, they're shaking you down for an extra $30 a month to get even semi-passable internet, which they might not give you.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that, fam. I'm out. I'm out.
I mean, that's the ISP. It's not the apartment. But
yeah, but the apartment doesn't allow you to get any other ISP, so it is absolutely partially the apartment's fault.
Yeah.
You said you're not allowed to install Charter. That means that the apartment is 100% complicit in the shitty ISP shaking you down and being terrible.
You've said yes to paying that money to get it bumped up, right? Like
no,
that's in motion.
I have not said yes yet because it was the weekend, and so Tuesday, when it's no longer the weekend, I will contact the internet provider again and say, for the love of fucking God, we are not getting the speeds that you said in the email we are getting. You make me a fucking promise right now that if I pay this money, I will get those internet speeds, or at least just get me up to where I'm supposed to be right now, because this is the 7th time I've done this.
Do they not have any better packages than 30 megabits per second? Like you couldn't go up to 100 even if you paid an extra $15 a month.
No, that's what it is. Is that right now it says based on the package that the apartment is paying for all of the tenants to get automatically, we're supposed to get 30 megabits per second download and upload. And then if we as the tenants pay an extra $30, the ISP will twist the knob a little bit and open up the speeds to 100 megabits.
I thought it was going from like 20 to 50.
Yeah.
No, it's going from 30 to 100 supposedly, even though right now I'm getting 10.
You don't usually get 10 even though.
No, I know that.
You usually get like 4.
Yeah. So it's not paying $30 to go from where it is right now to 30. It's paying $30 to go from the non-existent speed of 30 to 100.
But who are your neighbors? Like, who else is just like cool with this arrangement?
Old people.
Yeah, they gotta be elderly, right?
It is. This apartment is made up of almost entirely retirees and grad students, mostly retirees. And most of the retirees are like immigrants. So
if you paid for that extra to get to 100, they might put you in some sort of fast lane with like you get priority
no
bandwidth
one else is paying for it
amongst the residents, and no one else is really paying for it because they're all old. Like, it could fix everything as far as you know.
It could, but they also said, like, I think I told you guys this, like two weeks ago, they came out to the apartment to quote unquote fix it. They went up to, you know, the internet shit. I think it was on the roof, and they supposedly fixed it to, you know, give us better speeds. The download speeds got worse, and then the upload speeds went up to like 30. Like, the upload speeds are actually in the high 20s consistently. The download speeds have just gotten somehow even worse than they were before.
Yeah, that's completely broken. They've completely fucked the repair.
And unless what that quote unquote repair was just giving us the infrastructure to charge us the money to get 100 megabits. Because that's also possible, that they didn't actually fix anything, that they just installed more, you know, infrastructure so that we could then buy it if we wanted to. Not sure.
Look, I don't know, man. All I know is that, like, when ISPs are the only game in town, they act very shitty, and you have one where they're literally the only game in quote-unquote town, aka your apartment complex, and there's no motivation for them to ever improve or fix anything, and that would be a deal breaker right on the spot for me, personally. That would be, I cannot live here. Fuck that. And they're not even a big company, so you can't even, like, rely on their possible customer service because they don't give a fuck about their reputation or anything. Like, all they need to do is just get a couple of contracts with random apartment complexes to subsist. So, nah, fuck that, fam.
Did you like the first episode of What We Do in the Shadows?
He said no.
Yeah, again, yeah, like I didn't get that into it, but I could only watch it for a few minutes at a time.
Fair. What'd you guys think of that episode of Rick and Morty?
I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too.
That was like a top 3 of the season for me, with the snake jazz and I don't know.
Really, I thought it was just like an average episode for Rick and Morty.
Really?
I thought it was kind of predictable.
I really liked their back and forth, and like I liked all the parts of the episode that weren't the like montage.
Yeah.
Of Morty doing the ridiculous stuff, and like that, those parts I thought were fine, but
okay,
like, they weren't as funny as I thought the rest of the episode. Anytime there was a vat of acid involved, it's really just funny to me.
I mean, yeah, I guess my feelings on that, because of the long montage and how great the dialogue was before and after, that's what made me kind of... Yeah, it annoyed me that I couldn't get more dialogue out of this episode when it was so well written, and I knew how the montage was going to end. Like, it was pretty clear to me that this is Rick setting Morty up to fuck with him and teach him a bad lesson, basically.
I really liked the montage. Ryan and I talked about this last night. Ryan didn't care for it either. I really liked it.
I thought the montage was a worse version of the snake episode, though. I thought the snake episode was so much better. It like went to every single trope, and like the no dialogue was like really inventive and like creative because we all knew the tropes. This time it was just like a normal montage of him doing like stupid things, like not realizing that he was killing like thousands of versions of himself, which was funny after like it revealed. Like the actual montage itself, I didn't end up enjoying that much, even though it did pay off at the end because of like the reveal and everything. And then for me, the big punchline was just, you know, his only escape being a literal vat of acid that Rick set up as, this is your only escape. You're going to have to admit that it's a good idea. So...
Yeah.
It was funny. And I like episodes of Rick and Morty where you can picture the writer's room, and I thought that was another classic one where you can picture someone just like, oh, how will he get away? And he's like, they'll jump into a vat of acid. And they're like, well, what? Is he just going to wear like an acid-proof suit? And he's like, no, Rick will have set up a fake vat of acid. And then you're like, well, like normally bones would float to the surface. And then you'll hide bones at the bottom. Well, but how would they breathe? Like, they can't just breathe underwater. Like, well, no, they'll have breathing tubes that Rick will send. What about a ladle? What if they had a ladle? Like, you can literally just picture the writers, like, bickering about this stupid idea. And then they even reference it where, like, Rick's like, is my idea now to, like, pitch you ideas? Like,
Yeah.
It seemed very, like, I don't know, either Justin or Dan or one of the other higher-up writers pitching a ridiculous idea that then the other writers tried to shoot down but didn't succeed, and it made it in as dialogue, them trying to shoot it down.
You definitely see the steps of two writers arguing about the validity of pitching this idea, and then a third one coming in just, what if this is the episode right here?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting writing concept where someone just proposes something ridiculous and then everyone tries to point out why that couldn't happen, and then the person trying to come up with ways that it could.
Yeah,
I think that's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I like that happens a lot on Rick and Morty, at least compared to like a lot of other shows where you can literally just see how the writers arrived at every idea, and it makes it better.
Ryan, have you seen the latest episode of What We Do in the Shadows?
I have.
I thought it was fine.
Really? I liked it.
Oh, well, that's fair. I didn't really enjoy the B plot of Colin Robinson fighting the troll until it turned out to be a literal troll.
So that was a good moment.
Yeah, that was. But I don't know. Nick Kroll's character, I think, is... Well, and I guess just Nick Kroll's acting and like character type in general, it only really works when he is on top and an asshole about it. So that worked a little bit against me on this episode, but I'm excited to see some momentum in Guillermo and Nandor's relationship and see that storyline finally start to pay off.
That was the big one for me when Nandor was like, Guillermo, did you kill her? And then him breaking down immediately. Just like, yeah, it was an accident. Just, they'll look very bad for me and they will kill you. Just the first thing he thinks about is how it's going to make him look slightly bad, and the next thing is that he'll die.
Killing vampires is very frowned upon
by other vampires. Fucking guy. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, and Vampire Elvis.
That was pretty good. I was half expecting Vampire Tupac to show up later, like another person well known to have faked his death.
Yeah,
classic.
And I think this is going to end up being a classic episode of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast. I'm sorry, I take you to the wind down before I asked. Did we have anything else in the group chat we wanted to hit up quick?
No.
All right then.
What was the title? You wrote them down. I know you always write them down. Elon Musk's. Was it Elon Musk? I don't know. Do we have too many Elon Musk titles?
No, this one was going to be Joe Rogan's Army of Simps, unless we had.
There you go. That's a good one.
I don't think we can top that.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
You can take it. We're definitely not punching down to Joe Rogan.
I mean, according to you, Mr. Highfalutin,
too good for
turning down his podcast.
Joe Rogan couldn't get this if he wanted to.
You're never gonna get under this.
We are officially on the wind down, though. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 98th episode of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast. If you enjoy what you heard, please remember to support us on Patreon. A lot of great tiers on there, and you get to join the likes of Tiffany Cole, Sensual Richard Nixon, and Sucky Badger. If you have questions for us, please remember to send those to voluntaryviewing@gmail.com. We're also taking business opportunities on there, even if you are a Joe Rogan affiliate. Yeah. Also be sure to follow us on Twitter @V2_podcast. for updates about the podcast and what's going on. Also, be sure to follow me, Lucas DeRuyter, on Twitter, at Lucas DeRuyter. I don't know if I put out any fire tweets this week, but I have liked some Sailor Moon redraw memes, particularly a lot of ones where it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure art style. So yeah, if you check me out on Twitter, you'll get to see a bunch of those in one concentrated place. That's all I got.
Yeah.
You were right to do this episode earlier than usual because I am just exhausted. I think I might have to take a nap before poker.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
about
rest
poker
up,
tonight.
boys.
Holy shit.
Rest up, everyone, for tonight.
We
battle.
gamble.
Andrew, we're still on for the Taking Down Ryan plan, right?
You better be.
You're still on board for joining that other
I'm-
group chat with me and the rest of the players, and we just
Yeah.
text each other our hands, figure out who has the best, and then whoever has the best hand calls Ryan every time.
Do it, man. Fucking do it.
I mean, I am all for winning. If that's what the question was, do I want to beat Ryan? Yes. Do I want to beat everyone else too? Yes.
No, there's only one way. Those things might be mutually exclusive, Andrew. I don't know if you can take me down without also
We just have
banding
an
together as a
agreement
group.
To, as soon as if we can get Ryan out of the game, we all just call it then and split the winnings.
You could do that. That's what y'all motherfuckers did that one time. So it's very, very doable.
Andrew wasn't in that game.
He wasn't, but that's what people have done in the past. Is just been like, now a detente.
I think. Well, I mean, that was like our second or third game only, right? I don't think we had established yet that, yeah, we definitely play by tournament rules.
We had in the first game, but that's fair.
I don't think we did.
We definitely did, but it's totally fine. People weren't listening. It was confusing. We were all looking for websites.
Yeah.
And yes,
It was a whole...
first winner was winner take all, and Ian took all. So, at the very least there was precedent, but also I definitely explicitly set tournament rules, which is fine. That if no one heard it, totally fine that happened.
Okay. God, I'm hungry for that W, though. I've been getting, like, third place and above in these way too often to fucking bow out now.
I pictured the minute that I fold, everyone like goes all in so that they can create one superpower to just take it out. That would be that would be a way to take me down, possibly, considering what happened with me and you that one time, Lucas.
That's true.
You'd have to be lucky.
I don't know if I, like, stay more sober and play more aggressive that way, or if I get drunker and I'm able to play more aggressive that way. But either way, I need to get outside of my own head and just fucking chase some decent hands for once.
I always want to be inside my own head.
Really?
Yeah, I like when I can analyze triple cross like reverse psychology. that makes me like have fun. And then like when I'm right, it feels so much better when I actually like unraveled like what every single card being dealt on the table meant for that person's hand. Like, oh, well, they, checked at this, but they were probably laying low. But then I made a two pair on the turn, and they checked again, so, like, they probably are still sitting with a single pair. And then when you get it right, you're like, yes, motherfucker, yes. When you get it wrong, it's like, whoa, clap, clap, clap. Like, good fucking shit. Like, Jesus got me so bad last week, and I still am amazed that he got me that bad. And, yeah, I look forward to those as well, because they're fun when people catch you by surprise.
Yeah.
I explained it to Ian, but I had been tracking specifically Jesus because he was the chip leader's checks and calls for a while, and I had been able to see his cards on like 13 hands, and when he had high pair or better, he had bet on all 7 flops up until that point.
Yeah.
And he checked off the flop, and I was like, he's got nothing. So it was like a no-doubter, like, this is a 100% win. And then when he had made the 3 of a kind on the flop, I was like, you motherfucker, you sly devil. Like, you had never played that way all game long. And then one time you decided to lay low with a 3 of a kind and absolutely took me for a ride. Like, That was beautiful, man.
I don't recall. Was it a low pair
Yeah,
that he was dealt?
It was sixes, but I mean three of a kind.
Okay.
He had pocket sixes, made a six on the flop,
Oh, okay.
and checked. And he had never done that. He even with high pair,
Yeah.
like if there was the high pair was a queen on the board, he had always put in at least like a gentleman's check, as we say. And he had just pure checked, and I was like, he's done. And I was like 1,600, and I was like, this is zero. I'm gonna win. I had two pair, and nope, I did not have it. So it's fun.
All right.
I like it.
Sounds like a storm is starting up, and that's going to be pretty loud in my attic apartment. So, yeah, I think this is where we end it. Thank you all so much for tuning in.